Checklist complete. Running clean and hot.
All right, and we are now live for game 2 of week 2 of the Overwatch 2 open season. That's a lot of twos. And we are playing on Midtown, which is a hybrid map. Attackers versus defenders, and the attackers, it is their job to capture a point and afterwards escort a payload to the opposing side of the map. We're going to be starting off with the Grizzlies on the attack, and the Barons are defending. Looks like we got Royal over here as the bartender or the pizzeria expert, with Rad maybe wanting a pizza, and we're going in with Blue over here switching over to Ash. That is something different. Never mind, switches back to Genji, which is probably his play, and Royal has switched over to Baptiste. I haven't seen this too many times, and we've got Rad on Junker Queen, Shelly of course staying the same on Mercy, and Jimmy Buckets is going on Reaper.
And just to let you guys know that our team is the red team and the opposing team is blue.
Looks like a lot of just combat going on right here. Just some damage being dealt to both sides of this battle. And it looks like Jimmy picks up an elimination on the opposing Torbjorn. Some eliminations being traded. Looks like the eliminations are no longer equal, with both of the healers of the Grizzlies being taken out, with Blue still absolutely chilling, and no more though. Looks like Jimmy Buckets is on his way back to regroup with his team, as he is the only one out of the Grizzlies who was not eliminated in that initial push. Going down the main street, looked like it didn't work too well for the Grizzlies, so they may try for a flank within the next few. They don't have to this point in this push. We got Blue trying to assault this Ryan right here, trying to get a lot of damage on the opposing tank. Rad does fall to the enemy Torbjorn turret.
Yeah, they really need to be getting that gone, because that can rack up quite a bit of damage.
Absolutely, and it looks like the push to the main street is really risky for the Grizzlies right here because of this Torbjorn turret, as well as the opposing Bastion in his minigun form. However, Jimmy Buckets does have his Death Blossom ready, and I'm super excited to see if he can go in and wipe out the entirety of that team, especially if he's getting damage boosted by Shelly. Blue and Rad picking up 2 eliminations. However, Jimmy Buckets was stunned, and it looks like he is going to go in for the Death Blossom, and he doesn't go for it. It looks like he's able to handle it without his ultimate, which is an amazing play, saving that ultimate for when he really does need it. And it looks like the Grizzlies on this push do take control of the point. They are now halfway done with capturing this point, with all 5 of them sitting there, and Blue is showing the newspaper to whoever wants to watch. And the payload has now spawned, so it is up to the Grizzlies to take this payload all the way to the opposing side of the map. So the Barons will be spawning farther back away from the payload, and now that the Grizzlies have captured this point. So it'll make it a lot easier for the Grizzlies to come and get back on that point before the Barons are able to. Hearing a lot of communication from the Grizzlies right here, and I'm thinking they may go in for a Death Blossom by Jimmy Buckets right here, but it looks like he doesn't quite get the chance. He's pushing up as if he may go for this Death Blossom, and I want to see if he executes it properly, if he even does go for it at all, because he did surprise me last time. Huge ultimate by Rad and by Jimmy Buckets right there,
awesome.
Picking up a 3-piece. However, the opposing Torbjorn does use his ultimate to create an area of denial. However, Jimmy Buckets does pick up that elimination on the Torbjorn and the Soldier 76.
That was an amazing ult combination.
Absolutely. That combination was absolutely disgusting. And the Grizzlies have taken that payload to the first and only checkpoint. So they will now be spawning even closer to this payload, allowing them to get back on it quicker after eliminations. However, they may not even have to worry about that at all, because my man Shelly right here is great at picking up the best revives right in the middle of combat. Looks looks like that opposing Lucio just used his ultimate to try to heal the entirety of his team. However, I think it might have been more of a waste of an ultimate because it looked as if it ran out completely before they were even able to take any damage from the Grizzlies.
I've done that a few times and it does not feel good.
Absolutely not, I agree. And while I was rambling on about an ultimate from Lucio, Blue, Rad, and Jimmy Buckets went in and absolutely demolished the Barons right there.
And it seems as though the Grizzlies will have plenty of time to get it all the way to the finish point.
Absolutely. There wasn't even too much of a hiccup in this escort part of the hybrid game mode. However, the only time the Grizzlies faltered whatsoever, that was a beautiful triple kill by Jimmy Buckets right there. Absolutely amazing. As I was saying earlier, it seems as if the only time the Grizzlies faltered at all was during the initial capture point. And it looks like the Barons don't have enough time to get onto the payload. So the first round goes to the Grizzlies, and we're now going to be switching over for the Grizzlies to defend and the Barons to attack. And I'm really hoping the mic is picking this up because there's a lot of screaming going on in the other room.
Most of it from Rad.
Most of it from our man Rad. He is truly a tank at heart. You gotta love the man. So as I said earlier, just going to reiterate, the Grizzlies are now going to be defending and the Barons are going to be attacking. The roles are just reversed. Lots of silly noises coming from the Grizzlies in the other room. Looks like Blue has switched over to Ashe and Rad has switched to Ramatra. Personally, I am a large Ramatra enjoyer. He's a great character to play, and I'm super excited to see how well Rad carries out this Ramatra push. With the Grizzlies now getting into position, it looks like not a lot of the opposing Baron roster has changed, other than the fact that they have switched from their original tank to D.Va this time. We have
No more Torbjorn.
damage boosted Blue right here on Ashe, throwing a dynamite, dealing a lot of fire tick damage. Beautiful headshot damage. Blue's hitting some absolutely crazy shots here on Ashe. Very proud of this gentleman. But it looks like the Reaper, the D.Va, and the Soldier have jumped around and are trying to flank the Grizzlies. However, it looks like this D.Va is taking a lot of damage by Rad in his Nemesis form. Looks like Rad may need a little bit of healing after that, but Jimmy Buckets is going in with his dual shotguns, attempting to get some damage. Shully picks up a res and a kill as Battle Mercy. I love how balanced he is with his pistol and with his healing staff. Lots of laughing and screaming going on by the Grizzlies in the other room. It looks like they're just having fun with this match. Huge damage by Royal and Jimmy Buckets right here. And Rad in his ultimate, using his Omnic form. Lots of confusion from Rad right here as he seems to be a little bit overwhelmed by some pixels on his screen.
I would be too. There is a lot of commotion just going on.
Absolutely. Between the yelling between the Grizzlies and just the utter chaos of Ramatra's ultimate, there was just a lot to focus on, and it proved a little bit too much for my man Rad. Looks like they're getting ready for another push with Jimmy Buckets being damage boosted by Shully right here. It may go for a Death Blossom play, and I'm really excited to see if he does it again, because this would be a 3 out of 3 beautiful Death Blossom if he does pull it off correctly. Now, Reaper's ultimate is absolutely amazing at clearing points away, especially if the characters have anywhere under 400 health, really. Looks like Mr. Buckets is going to jump in, does his Death Blossom, picks up a triple elimination. That was absolutely beautiful, and comes in to go attack that D.Va who is stuck on top of the train.
At least he has consistency.
Absolutely. Triple kill every single time, which is beautiful. Looks like that poor diva was exposed and taken out by Blue with a headshot as Ash. Now, the Barons only have 1 minute and 15 seconds to go and take this point away from the Grizzlies. With the way that it's looking right now, they either have to come up with a different strategy that may or may not even work against the Grizzlies' defense, or it looks like the second round is going to go to the Grizzlies. Looks like Rad is taking a lot of damage, but thanks to Royal, he's getting the healing that he does need, taking out their diva easily. Looks like Barons have switched over to Soldier, but sorry, Sojourn, but it didn't even do them any good, with Jimmy chasing down the final support character after Rad goes on a rampage.
And it seems as though their Soldier did use his ult, but I don't see any deaths on the Grizzly side.
Absolutely. It looks like that Soldier ult just went to complete waste. Is that a Wrecking Ball hamster I see? That is a concerning play from the Barons. It looks like they're just trying to whip out anything that they can, trying to roll past the Grizzlies. But of course it doesn't work because this Grizzly defensive line is just too great. However, he does get by, but he is exceptionally low. And it looks like he is about to fall to the Grizzlies, and he does. However, that opposing Kiriko did use the Wrecking Ball's tanky body as a way to get all the way up into the point.
And there we go.
There we
Good
go.
job,
That is
Grizzlies.
round number 2 to the Grizzlies. Great job to these guys. That is a 2-0 lead for tonight's match. And we're going to be moving into round 3. Let's see what the play of the game is. Looks like Blue grabs play of the game again as Genji. I kind of want to see this because I think I was talking through this whole thing. The pros and cons of being a commentator, you don't get to see.
He just gets too many kills, man. Sometimes it's easy to forget some.
Great job to the Grizzlies. Alright, and we are here for Game 3 of Week 2 of the Overwatch 2 Open Season. The Grizzlies are up 2-0, and we are now on Circuit Royale, which is an escort map. So the whole idea of this is for the attacking team to bring the payload from their side of the map all the way to the other side. And I don't think I'm seeing this correctly. I'm seeing this correctly. Heon Winton. My man Rad is playing the monkey of the group, and I gotta say, I've only seen this maybe once or twice in the entirety of the time playing with this gentleman, and he do be on the phone. So we're gonna see how well these guys do right here.
And he changes.
And he changes to his man Reinhardt, flexing for the Grizzlies right here. Absolutely beautiful. Other than that, the entirety of the Grizzlies do stay the same. We are going to be attacking first, and the Barons are going to have to absolutely do their best to keep the Grizzlies away from this point. And he switches back to Winton. That is crazy. I really didn't expect that.
He is throwing us for a loop.
Absolutely. He's a very indecisive gentleman.
Ooh, it's getting low very quickly.
That is a lot of damage from that opposing Orisa right there. But Blue is going in to still do some damage. Rad was eliminated as Winston, but Blue does pick up an elimination on the opposing Soldier. That Baron Orisa looks like, never mind. I was about to compliment her on doing a really good job, but she just fell right before my eyes. Looks like Blue got a little bit sleepy right there, according to the opposing Ana. However, she is the last one alive from the Barons, and she was taken out by Blue right there, picking up a double elimination with Jimmy Buckets backing him up. We got Royal with my personal favorite Ana skin sitting back here on the beautiful little race car and bringing that payload up almost to the first checkpoint already. Lots of combat going on right here with Blue jumping on and off this platform. Abe doing his little beautiful slam as Winston right there. And it looks like Royal has brought the payload to the first checkpoint in order to let the Grizzlies spawn even closer to this payload. The Barons are having a really difficult time trying to even push past the Grizzlies. And their tank falls. That tank really overextended right there, giving the Grizzlies enough time to deal as much damage as absolutely possible and take out that Orisa. Beautiful Death Blossom by Jimmy Buckets right there, and it looks like Rad is on the phone. I don't know who he's calling, but it can't be the Barons because all of them have fallen to the Grizzlies.
They were just letting Royal sit on the payload, pushing it forward.
Absolutely. Shully is doing such a great job as a solo healer right here. They don't even need Royal as their second support. They're allowing her to sit on that payload and bring it almost all the way up. Oh, almost got the res right there. A lot of distress from my man Shully. Looks like Blue going in with his Nano Blade, however, does sadly get taken out by the opposing soldier. Now that the payload is all the way up here, the Grizzlies now have Royal to heal alongside them. And it looks like Rad being inside his crazy gorilla mode as Winston. I forgot the name of this ultimate, but that's basically the gist of it.
How much health did he have? Oh my goodness.
I'm not for sure. I think he might have had like 1.
That's what it looked like.
3 health. He had
Wow.
exactly 3 health at the end of that fight. That was insane that he even lived after that.
That's what good getting out skills will get you.
That is why Winston is a great character to play. He can leap over absolutely anything and put that shield down to stop any damage from hitting him in the back. Looks like Shully is in his ultimate. Actually, no, I saw that incorrectly. Shully is not in his ultimate. Lots of damage being traded between the Barons and the Grizzlies right now. Shully picking up the res on Rad, allowing him to get back into the fight and really push these Barons away from the payload. Blue taking out the Symmetra, Rad taking out the Lucio, and it looks like this payload is getting closer and closer to the second and final checkpoint. Shully is jumping around in his ultimate, picking up an elimination on the soldier.
Nice.
Shully is gotta be the best battle mercy I think that I've ever seen.
I'm just saying, if I was a fair flying around him, I would be very scared.
Absolutely. Looks like Blue is running in here. I think he's trying to farm out enough damage in order to get his ultimate. And it looks like Royal's ultimate is ready as well. She may go for a nano boost on Blue in order to do that very, very amazing Nano Blade combo, which is a fan favorite of the Grizzlies fans right here. I see a lot of people absolutely loving this play, and it looks like they don't even need it right here. But they are still going in. Blue jumping in with the Dragon Blade, picking off the Lucio, picking off the Symmetra, and that is a beautiful team wipe by the Grizzlies, by Blue, Jimmy Buckets, and my man Rad.
They work together so well.
Absolutely. Any team that goes against the Grizzlies has to really try to focus their supports, because Royal and Shully do an amazing job at just keeping everyone alive just so that they can do the most damage possible.
They have both supports down, so I wonder how... Ooh, and Tank is down as well.
It is now... Jimmy Buckets is trying to escape with his fade, and it looks like a Symmetra turret does take out Blue. With that payload getting closer and closer to the opponent's side of the field, it makes it to where the Barons spawn and are immediately already at the point where they can deal damage to the Grizzlies. So they don't have to travel anywhere. All they have to do is come out of their spawn room and they're already attacking. This can prove very difficult for the Grizzlies to overcome. However, I do have the utmost faith in these guys. Looks like Rad is utilizing his long-range Tesla coil by Winston right here. However, that Orisa ultimate really just sent his body flying up and just lands right in front of the camera. That could have been a jump scare, but Shully is damage boosting the entirety of the Grizzlies right now and picks up an elimination on the Orisa. That was absolutely beautiful. Looks like Blue is doing his absolute best to push these guys back, with all of the Grizzlies still sitting on that Lucio. Solo pushes and solo ults rather than waiting for the entirety of his team to get out there and being a little heel hog and taking all of the health for himself. Royal is doing a great job right here, keeping the rest of the Grizzlies alive, and it looks like Blue goes in, picking up a double elimination, and it looks like the first round of Escort is complete. Grizzlies 1-0. The sides are going to be switching now. All the Grizzlies have to do is stop the Barons from taking this payload all the way to their side of the field.
And if the Barons do happen to get all the way to the end, the Grizzlies will have 1:48 to collect more points, and then however many seconds that the Barons have, they will then have that amount of time as well.
But hopefully we won't have to get into overtime, because I know that the defense game by the Grizzlies is beyond strong. And I'm super excited to see just how well they keep the Barons off at this point. Looks like Blue has switched over to Widowmaker. I don't think I was really expecting a Widowmaker play from Blue right here.
It seems that the Barons also wanted to switch over to a Widowmaker.
It looks like they also switched over to Ramatra, which could be a really good play against the Grizzlies. However, with Rad being able to utilize his rock to stun that Ramatra, anytime that Ramatra jumps into his Nemesis form, it can be immediately canceled by Rad, as well as by... Never mind, Royal has switched over to Baptiste for this round. It looks like there is a damage boosted Blue up here, trying to get some easy snipes, easy picks on the Barons on some of their squishy and low health characters. Looks like a Widowmaker battle right here, with Blue almost snagging the kill on that opposing Widowmaker and Soldier 76. Lots of damage being dealt here by Blue, however, not quite an elimination yet. There is a pick by Blue. I'm not going to move off of him and go see my man Rat. It looks like their tank has greatly overextended into the Grizzlies' front line. However, the Barons are doing an amazing job on this initial attack. Lots of damage being dealt to my man Rat. However, he does slightly miss that boulder. Looks like Shully was picked off by the opposing Ramatra. And this payload is almost already to the first checkpoint, with the Grizzlies on top of this racetrack. And the first checkpoint has been reached by the Barons payload, and so they're now going to be spawning closer and closer to the Grizzlies side. Looks like Rad has switched over to Reinhardt, which is definitely his main character. I'm super excited to see how well he does right here on Reinhardt. I don't believe he's played Reinhardt so far tonight, has he?
I don't believe so.
That's honestly surprising.
I also just have bad memories.
That's honestly surprising. He usually always is on Reinhardt, and it's good that he is, because he is amazing on Reinhardt, dealing a lot of damage and taking out the opposing tank. However, that 1v4 did prove to be very difficult. Shully getting the revive on Rad right here. It looks like he's going in for even more damage, attempting to destroy this Moira in her ultimate. However, almost falls right here, but his hammer down is ready. I'm excited to see how many of the Barons he's going to stun right here. Looks like their Ramatra is just pushing directly into their line. He gets a stun on 3 of them, taking out the Widowmaker and greatly damaging the rest of them. However, Rad does fall to the opposing Soldier 76, but the Barons are pushed fairly far back away from the payload, and as I say that, of course, I just had to jinx the Grizzlies like that. They are now back up to this payload. And that is a Death Blossom by Jimmy Buckets.
That was beautiful.
Picking up a triple elimination, quad elimination, however, and he does fall to the opposing Soldier 76, but Rad the cleanup man runs up there and takes out that Soldier, and that is a team wipe by the Grizzlies. Absolutely beautiful work. Rad is currently the only one on this payload. It's got to have the Grizzlies.
Oh.
Ooh, that was a beautiful play by the Barons right here, allowing that teleporter to take them all the way up directly into the front line of the Grizzlies and perfectly isolating them away from that payload so this payload can continue moving. That is a Baptiste wall by Royal up there to deal a lot of extra amplified damage against the Barons. However, that was a triple elimination by the Grizzlies right there, allowing them to push forward and keep the Barons back away from this payload. The Barons have 2 minutes and 45 seconds in order to get back up to this payload and take it to the next checkpoint and put some more time on their clock. However, they've got to get past the Grizzlies first and keep them back long enough to do that in the first place. Beautiful hammer down by Rad right there, stunning 2 of them. And pinning the Ramattra, getting an elimination on the Ramattra and almost a Symmetra, but she was being healed by the Lucio. Lots of damage and some amazing plays by the Grizzlies right here. Looks like none of them currently have their ultimate ready. However, the opposing Lucio, Symmetra, and Soldier 76 have their ultimates ready.
And their Ramattra is very close to getting it as well.
With this ultimate comp, there is definitely a great chance, especially now that the Ramattra is using his ultimate, there's a great chance that the Grizzlies will fall in this initial push, and it looks like I was correct. And it only took one Ramattra ult. I was expecting to see all 3 of those ults go off at the exact same time. That would have been an absolutely beautiful combination. And it looks like that Ramattra continues to just overextend into the Grizzlies line. He gets 1 elimination and starts to get bloodthirsty. This payload is getting ever so closer to this checkpoint. Shelly grabs a beautiful revive on Rad right here to get him back into the game. Hits his hammer down, taking out the Lucio and the Symmetra, with Jimmy Buckets using his ultimate in order to get an elimination as well.
Seems as though we have a Widowmaker and both supports ult on the Grizzly side.
Absolutely. With both support ults like this, a lot of damage can be dealt, especially by Blue, who just activated his ultimate to reveal the location of every Barons player to the entirety of the Grizzlies team. Looks like he is being damage boosted by Shelly right here. See if he can get a pick on maybe one of the squishies inside their spawn room. Looks like they are just waiting for his ultimate to go away, and they did just wait for that. However, that is just less time that they're given to go and get onto that payload. Looks like that was a very close getaway by Blue right there.
Amazing comms.
Absolutely. Great comms by Jimmy Buckets, telling Blue that they were teleporting to his very location. With Widowmaker only at 175 health, she is an easy kill to almost any other hero. And it looks like their Moira has gone past the Grizzlies without them even realizing and is bringing that payload up. But Shelly has gone up and is trying to battle mercy this Moira. And it looks like the opposing Soldier and Ramattra and Lucio and the Moira were taken down by the Grizzlies. That is a beautiful team kill, and the 3rd and final round goes to the MSU Grizzlies with a 3-0 sweep for tonight's Week 2 Overwatch 2 game. Good game to the Grizzlies and to the Barons. Play of the game goes to Blue once more, and 3rd time's a charm with the upset camera angle. Looks like this is when he goes in right here at the very end of the 1st round. Great job to the Grizzlies with the 3-0 sweep. Very proud of you guys. Good game to the Barons.